Hi, everybody. I don't know how much I am going to film the rest of this trip or if I've ever filmed anything at all at the beginning of this trip. But as of yesterday, December 12th, 2025, at 3 p.m. East Coast time, my family dog died. Um, he is a border collie. He was 16 and 4 months, and he was still at like not the peak of life, but he was still super hyper and attentive and everything most of the time. His joints were failing him, but that comes with age. And he was getting more blind, he was getting more hard of hearing, but that comes with age. But his energy levels and like his there-ness was so present. Every time I took him to grooming or to the vet or whatever, they're like, oh my gosh, he's got so much time like left. Like, look at how chipper he is. He's always so chipper, so excitable, so amazing, and like still like greeting you at the door, happy to see you. And at breakfast times when he's hungry, he's still like jumping around the kitchen and stuff. But we left our we my mom dropped him off at the boarding house on the 9th in the afternoon, and we left for our trip on the 10th. So so 3 days later, my mom gets a call from her friend who is the emergency contact saying that he's not getting up today, he hasn't eaten. And she's on the phone with her friend sending her updates. She sends us a video where he's just laying there and they're like petting him and he just doesn't want to get up, but he's like awake and he's looking around. And I go like do other stuff on the ship, and I guess my parents were calling everyone to see if they can go pick him up and like stay at our house or something. And I am talking to a friend on the phone, like a video call, and I get this notification pop up from the top of my screen that just says Alistair has passed away at 3:01 p.m. Like, that's the time of the notification. And my friend told me after, like, my entire face dropped because all I saw in that moment was my dog just died. That's a joke. That's so not funny. That's can't be true. Like, the last time I saw him, he was like rolling around and being annoying. Um, and I was just like, I gotta go. And I had to grab all of my stuff off the table and just like, I think I dropped something at one point. I went back to get and like rushed back to the room just to be like, what do you mean he's dead? Like, it's not possible. I think he died of a broken heart thinking that we left him 3 days ago. The story was they ended up taking him to the vet on my dad's insistence because they were going to just euthanize him or something. And I was like, heck no, you're not doing that. But he's like, and while they were in the waiting room, he passed in the back of their van, in their trunk. So my family dog. So the reason I haven't left or done anything other than go to Disney, I hadn't traveled in 2025 because I kept thinking all of 2024 that it was going to be his last year and I was going to be with him all of 2025 just to be with him when he died. And I finally felt fine enough that he would have another year that I agreed to go on this trip with my family. And the fact that he died alone with strangers in the back of someone's truck without us because he thought we abandoned him. I feel so guilty. And like, I keep thinking about how anytime I'm eating, he's always at the spot right next to where I'm sitting, and he is sleeping, he is relaxed, he is chilled, he's waiting for me to give him my crust. Or like, my parents went on a trip earlier this year and I stayed with him, and I was the only person he had, and he was the only person I talked to the entire time my parents were gone. And he was like pooping in the house, throwing up and stuff just because he had some like bad reaction to some food or having a bad stomach day. And like, I picked him up and put him in the sink, and he tried to jump out twice. And I caught him both times, but like, he's got so much time left. I cannot even imagine. We're gonna have to go home in 10 days. He's not going to be there. And I just bought a huge 35-pound bag of dog food. And my mom just bought those oil droplet thingies, medications you do monthly. My mom said she bought like a 2-3 pack from like the grocery store because she didn't think he would live that long. And then we just went and bought the 6-pack from Costco because she was like, he will. So I'm thinking of like all of these things we have to return now because he's dead. Because we had finally come to terms with the fact, oh, he's got so much time left. And then he dies on us. And then my sister came to visit us for a little bit in October, I think, or October, November. She told me when she was leaving, the day she left, she's like, I told him he can die so mom and sister can enjoy their life. And I'm like, how dare you tell him that? Like, obviously it's not possible, but I'm like, she is to blame. She has some of the blame. If she doesn't, she feels guilt about saying that to him at least. Other than like being sad and missing moments, like remembering moments about him, I'm mostly just trying to power through and like, we're on this trip, right? There's no reason for us to stop the trip and go home. He's already dead. What can we do? I originally was like, I can go home and go pick him up and stay with him. I will end my trip now. We hadn't even reached our first destination yet. Today was our first destination. And he died that day before we reached our first destination. Like, I feel so betrayed by my own dog. Like, I had seen this thing where vets were like, people who take their pets to be put down, they'll leave the room when it's done, and your pet's last memory is your back. And how they're encouraging like families to like stay with them and say your goodbyes, so their last memory is your face even though you're crying. And I wanted to be in the room with him when it happened. At least, you know, I wanted to hold him one last time. But 'tis not the case. So we'll see how much of this video is cruise information and how much of this video is me crying about my dog.